Hello, this is Ben Schaff from Hebrew Bible Verse a Day. If you haven't already, then please do subscribe to this channel, and definitely please do like this video, like right now, and then it keeps me going, knows that I'm doing the right thing. So I'm very excited, you can probably hear it in my voice, because today we're going to do something which is slightly different. That is that we're not just going to do one verse, but we're going to do 5 verses. So if that's too much for you for any reason, then feel free to pause the video when you need a little bit of a break. Feel free to divide it over 5 days or however you choose. Leave me your feedback and let me know if you think this new format is good or you prefer it how it was before. So let's get straight in. Just to give you the context, we are currently talking about the Garden of Eden. And in just the verse before, we said that there was a river which was parted into 4. Those aren't the exact words, but it kind of gives you an idea of what we're talking about. There was a river that came out of Eden, the Garden of Eden, and it split into 4. So let's go into Pasuk Yud Aleph. I'll read the Hebrew first and then the English. Shem ha'echad Pishon, hu hasovev et kol eretz hachavila, Asher Sham Hazahav. And in English this means the name of the first is Pishon, that is which compasseth the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. So Shem Ha'echad, Shem is name, Hashem Sheli Ben, Ha'echad, Echad is one. So it can either mean the first or one, and so it's saying the name of the first one is Pishon. Okay. Hu hasovev. Who is he? That's easy to remember. Or it. It's kind of the third person. Hasovev. Now, the translation here is actually as compasseth. Not even sure what that means, but obviously something to do with the compass. I should remember from my Latin that it means around or something like that. But the Hebrew word, the modern Hebrew word, lehistovev, means surround. So that's what we're talking about here, something that surrounds. Et kol eretz hachavila. Et is the. Kol eretz. Kol is all. Eretz is land. Hachavila. Ha here is meaning of or the. Chavila is the name of the place. Asher Sham Hazahav, which Asher is that or which, Sham is there, Hazahav is gold, and we say Yerushalayim Shel Zahav, which means Jerusalem of gold. Very famous song by Nomi Shemer. So, a few things that I just want to go over, and that is just to read some words a bit slower, take you through the letters, and there's a couple of what I would say funny words here. So let's just start from the beginning though. Shem, we got a shin, and we can tell it's a shin rather than a sin because it's got a dot on the top right, and then a mem sofit, that's a final mem. So we've got a sh sound and a m sound. The 2 dots underneath is and we can see that in several places because 2 dots underneath or 3 dots underneath is So here we got let's see, So just remember 2 dots or 3 dots underneath, horizontal or like a triangle is and you're halfway there. So it's she and a m, so it's shem. We got a hey, a h sound with a t underneath. Now a T underneath or a line underneath is a. So we've got here, Don't ask me if I enjoyed that, but what it means is we've got a hey with an a, so it's ha. 3 dots underneath we know is an so it's an aleph, an a with an so ha, this is a chet. Yudbet. Not sure if you're able to pronounce that or not, if you haven't learned or spoken Hebrew before. It's a ch sound, like Chanukah. And it's got a T underneath, so it's an A sound, so it's cha. And the last letter, because there's no vowels there, goes with the letter before. The last letter is a dalad. Looks a bit like a resh, but it's got a slightly different corner at the top right. So Shem ha-echad. Ha-echad. Shem ha-echad. Got a pei. We know it's a pei rather than a fei, because it's got a dot in it. If it didn't have the dot, it would be a first sound, but because it's got the dot, it's a p sound. With one dot underneath, so it's an I sound. So pi. The smallest letter of the alphabet is a yud, so y sound. It goes with the p because there's no vowel on it. We've got a shin again, like we had shem, so it's a sh sound, which goes together with the next two letters. One is a vav. As the dot is above, it's an o sound. If the dot was in the middle, it would be an u sound. If there wasn't a dot, or it was underneath, it would be a v sound. So here it's an o sound, which also goes with a nun sofit. That's a final nun. A nun is a n. So pi sh on. Pishon. So we've got Shem ha-echad Pishon. So that's verse 11. Let's go on fairly quickly to verse 12. So this is now chapter 2, verse 12, and let's just read the Hebrew and then we'll read the English. And once again, it's a fairly short verse, which makes it good because we're going through 5 verses today, and this is the second one. So let's read the Hebrew. Yud bet, that's 10, which is Yud, and the bet is 2. Uzahav ha'aretz hahi tov. Sham habedolach ve'even hashoham. Let's read the English. And the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium and the onyx stone. So uzahav ha'aretz hahi. So zahav, as we learned before, is gold, like Jerusalem of gold, golden Jerusalem, Yerushalayim shel zahav. Ha'aretz is land, hahi is she or it. So uzahav ha'aretz hahi is and the gold of that land. Tov. Tov is good, and we've used that word quite a lot because every day of creation God looks at it and said it was good, or almost every day. Which day did he not? Do you remember? Sham is there, habedolet. Now it's translated as bedelium. I've got actually no idea what bedolet is. I'll actually just pause the video and see what it says. So bedolet is crystal, it seems. And there's actually, there was a settlement in Gush Katif which was called Bedolah. So Sham HaBedolet, so there is the crystal, the Even HaShoham, and the onyx stone. Even is stone, and HaShoham is onyx, and it's actually a name which is used in Israel. In modern day Israel, especially girls, are called Shoham. So that's pretty interesting. Now let's just go over 2 words here which I thought were quite hard to read. We got the hey with an a underneath. If you remember, one line underneath is a, so ha. Got 2 dots underneath vertical on a bet. You can know it's a bet rather than a vet because there's a dot in the middle, so it's b. The dalad with a top left dot. Pretty much anything which has a top left dot is an o sound, so it's do. The lamed has a line, biggest letter of the alphabet, so it's an a sound or la sound. And the chet doesn't have any vowels, but it's a ch sound, so we've got ha, b, do, lach, habedolach, habedolach. The other word I wanted to go over was the last word. You can see we've got an a and an a, and a hey and a hey. So it's a ha and a ha. And the last letter is a mem, or a mem sofit, because it's at the end, which is a m sound, a final mem. But it's really this letter in the middle which is the most confusing, because usually it's either a shin or a sin. And you know whether it's a shin or a sin by whether it's got the dot on the top right candle or top left candle. And here, it's on both. So that's a bit confusing. Well, I'll tell you what you do, and it's actually not that difficult to remember, and it kind of becomes obvious. It is a shin, and you take this dot to show it's a shin, and this dot is actually, like we saw before in Habadolet, it's sho. So it's a shin rather than sin because of the top right dot, and it's an o sound like Habadolet because the top left dot is giving us an o sound. So it's ha, sho, ham. Ha, sho, ham. And one of the things I'm really hoping in this slightly longer video is that the reading does get a bit easier for you if you're not familiar with it already, because we're kind of repeating again and again and again in the same video. So hopefully that is good. Let's move on. We're now in verse 13. It's chapter 2, chapter Sheni, Perek Sheni of Genesis, that's Bereishit. Verse 13, that's Pasuk Shalosh Isra, or the gematria is Yud Gimel. Yud is 10 and Gimel is 3. It's the third letter of the alphabet, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, and Yud is always 10. And we can see here it's 13 as well. If you haven't already, please do like this video if you're liking it, or leave me a comment, and that really does keep me going. Okay, let's read the Hebrew and then we'll read the English. V'shem hanahar hasheni Gihon hu hasovev et kol eretz Kush. So this should sound very familiar because we had a pasuk, a verse like it just 2 earlier. And the name of the second river is Gihon. The same is it that compasseth the whole land of Cush. So, V'shem hanahar hasheni. And the name, we've had Shem meaning name, Hanahar is river, so we're talking about one of the 4 rivers. Hasheni, the second, like we had Perek Sheni, the second chapter. Gihon is called Gihon. And actually the waterboard in Israel is called Hagihon. Hu hasovev. And like before, lehistovev is to surround, it surrounds. Et is kind of the, it's saying a direct object. Kol is all, and in modern day Hebrew as well. Eretz is land, and Cush is a name of a country, and it means Ethiopia in modern day Hebrew. So it's probably fairly close to that kind of area. Okay. We've read the Hebrew, we've read the English. Let's just go over some words here. I don't think we did this word, did we? So let's do this word, the one, the surroundeth one, the compasseth one. Remember the hey with an a underneath, the line is an a. So one line or a T is a. So you can see it, ha, a, 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 a. So it's an sound with a hey. So it's ha, and then we've got a samach. Ignore the dot in the middle for the moment, but there's no other vowel on the samach, so it goes with the next letter, which is a vav. But it doesn't make a V sound, it makes a O sound because the dot is above. So we've got ha, s, O, and then we've got 2 vets together. If they had a dot in the middle, they would be bets, but they don't, so they're vet, a v sound. And the first one has 2 dots underneath, and as there's now vowel on the second one, it joins with the first one. So we've got an e sound, either 2 dots or 3 dots, like an eretz is an e sound. So we've got ve, v. So ha, so, vev, hasovev, hasovev. Let's take the last word as well. We got a kaf. If it didn't have a dot in the middle, it would be a chaf. So it's a k sound. The vowel goes with the middle letter. So whereas before we had an o, because the vowel is in the middle of the vav, it's an u. And I kind of think of the, this is how I used to remember it anyway, the dot is like on the tummy. And you can imagine a man leaning and going, oh, because I always think of the vav like a man. Or a woman, of course. And the shin at the end, we know it's a shin rather than a sin because that has a dot on the top right. So we've got a kaf, a vav, which is like an u, and a shin. So it's kush. So et kol eretz kush. And I'm really hoping by now that you're getting a hand of the reading and how it all works. But without further ado, let's go on to the 14th pasuk. And we're doing really, really well. This is pasuk Yud Daled. The Yud is 10, the Daled is 4. It's chapter 2, Perek Sheni. If you're not signed up already, please do go to HebrewBibleVerseAday.com. You can type it in now, and there you'll be able to sign up to find out about future videos. So let's read the Hebrew and then the English, and should all sound quite familiar because we're using the same kind of language as the last few psukim, the last few verses. V'shem hanahar hashlishi chidekel hu haholech kidmat ashur v'hanahar haravi'i hu Euphrates. So the English, and the name of the third river is Tigris. That is which goeth towards the east of Assur, and the fourth river is the Euphrates. Okay, V'shem hanahar hashlishi. So Hashem is name, hanahar is the river, hashlishi is the third, shalosh is 3. The third day of week is Yom Shlishi, Tuesday. Chidekel. So that's the name, and they've translated it as the Tigris. So I wouldn't argue with that. Hu haholech kidmat ashur. So who is he or it? Haholech, holech or lalechet is to go or to walk. Kidmat ashur. Kidmat is towards, so it's kind of to an advance word. Kodem is to go before somebody. Here it means, in the direction of Ashur, and Ashur is a name. V'hanahar haravi'i. So let's get straight on to the fourth river. Rivi'i is Yom Rivi'i is Wednesday. It's the fourth day. Arba, and you're missing the letter before the resh here, but Arba is 4. So V'hanaha haravi'i. So the fourth river, Hu Farat. So it is called the Euphrates, is how they've translated it here. So we've just spoken about the third river and the fourth river, and there are only 4 rivers or 4 heads that came out of Eden. So let's take a quick look at a few words here. The first one that we'll do is here. We've got a hey, then ah. If we look at all the ahs, it's a line underneath or a T underneath. So we got ah, 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 ah. So we've got a hey with an ah, so it's a ha. We've got another hey with an o. It's a top left dot, which is always an o sound. So we've got ha, ho, ha, ho. Lamed, which is the biggest letter, with 2 dots underneath, which is an e. 2 dots or 3 dots, like a triangle, is always an e. So we've got e, and that's it. So we've got an e with the biggest letter of the alphabet. And you can remember it's a lamed because it's the biggest letter. So la, with an e, so le. And this is the final chaf. A final chaf. It means it's a chaf which is at the end of a word. And as far as I can remember, you don't get a kaf at the end of the word. So if you get one like this, it's always a final chaf rather than a final kaf. So we've got a ha, ho, le, ch. Ha, ho, ha-lech, ha-holech, ha-holech, hu, ha-holech. This is quite an interesting word as well, the next word. We've got a kuf, it's a big letter, it goes below the line, and it's got a one dot underneath, which is an I sound. You can see this shlishi, I, chidelek, hara, vi. So we've got a kuf with an I. So it's a ki. We've got a dalad with two dots going down, so it's an sound on the dalad. It looks like a resh or a reversed r, so it's a d. Mem for mummy. I'm sure you can remember that somehow, with a line underneath, which means it's an a. So ki, d, ma, and the final tough on the word is a t sound, and it joins together with the mem. So it's kidamat, kidmat, kidmat, kidmat. Now, as you can see, I don't pronounce the so much, but you may find that others say kidmat, but I just say kidmat. Bit of a different translation there. And let's move on to verse 15. It's the last verse we'll do today. It's chapter 2 of Bereishit, of Genesis, and it is verse 15. It's tet vav, and you may remember from the first chapter that we actually don't have a yud and then a hey, like you would think. A yud is 10 and a hey is 5. So that would be the logical thing here. We have tet, which is one less than yud, which is 9, and vav, which is one more than hey, which is 6. 9 and 6 is 15. So what's going on here? Why do we say tet vav instead of yud and then hey? It's because yud and then hey is the name of God. And you can actually see the yud and then hey with the vav and then hey here. And that shows you that Yah, it can also be a name of God. It's only half of this name of God, but just to give you an idea of why we do have tet vav instead of yud hey. So let's read the Hebrew and then we'll read the English. Vayikach Adonai Elohim et ha'adam vayanichehu v'gan Eden la'avda u'l'shamara. Okay, and the Lord God took the man and put him into the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. It's a really funny translation, to dress it, but we'll come to that word in a second and look what's going on. Vayikach Hashem Elokim. So, and he took, who are we talking about? And Lord the God took et ha'adam, the man. Adam is man, human, like Adam. Adam was the first man. Vayanichehu v'gan Eden. There's a certain, and he placed him in Gan Eden. There's a certain amount of comfort in this word. You know, he placed him, almost for rest. It sounds like menucha is rest, and it's the same word. And Noach is Noah and the Ark. I've actually got a video on Noah and the Ark, which may be in your suggested videos, so go and have a look at that afterwards if that does interest you. V'gan Eden la'avodah u'l'shamra. So la'avodah, avodah is a working word, to work, and it's a bit funny that they've used the translation to dress it, and I'm not really sure what kind of idea that they're trying to give. You could dress it like you dress a person, or you also dress a salad as well. But I would say to work the land, u'l'shamra. So shomer or lishmor is to keep or to guard over. So a shomer in modern Hebrew is a guard, someone which guards over something. If you're shomrei Shabbat, it means that you keep Shabbat. So yeah, that's the meaning of the verse. I think we've ended the 5th verse in a pretty good place, because we're talking about man. We've gone through all of the 4 rivers and now man. Let's go just through a couple of words from the Hebrew. Let's do the last 2 words because they're the most interesting, I think. Got a lamed, the biggest letter, with an 2 dots going down is Got an ayin, which is a hard aleph, an with a T underneath. If you remember, T or horizontal line is a. So we got a. Got a bet without the dot, so it's a vet with 2 dots underneath. So like with the lamed being a l, it's a v. Got a dalad, which looks a bit like a resh, but it's got a top right, so it's a dalad, a d sound with an a underneath is da. And then the hey is actually just silent here and joins in with the dalad. So we've got l, a, v, da, la avada, la avada. And it's very pronouncing to actually say, put a dot here and say la avoda, but that's not what it says. It's la avada, la avada. And we see the same kind of grammatical phrasing in the next word. So we've got a vav with, do you remember we said in the previous verse, we said about the dot being in the gut of a man. So it's an ooh sound. We've got a lamed, the biggest letter, like we had here as well. So it's a lamed, a l. We've got a shin. We know it's a shin rather than a sin because it's got the dot on the top right with the T underneath. If it's a line or a T, it's an a. So it's le, sha. Got the mem with 2 dots, like the lamed, it's an sound, but it's a mem, a m sound, so it's m. Got the resh, which is like an r reversed, with a sound underneath, so it's ra. And as it happens, the hey here is a silent. So we've got u, le, sha, m, ra. Ula shamara. So we've got la ava da, ula shamara. Shamara. So I hope you've enjoyed this slightly longer video. If you have, please give me a like. If you enjoyed this video as well, please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you will get informed of future videos like this as well. Let me know your feedback, please, in the comments on whether you like the slightly longer format, or whether you prefer me just going one at a time, or you don't really mind. Very interested to hear what you've got to say. And so I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to say farewell. I'm going to say shalom. I'm going to say lehitraot from Yerushalayim. Signing off, Ben Shaffer.